Shalom, all praise to Yahweh Shemel Shah, double honor to the Apostle GMS. My name is Amna Wa'ala, coming at you once again with another lesson, going into John chapter 16, verse 13. So let's get right to it. It says, howbeit, this is Yahweh Shah speaking to the disciples, telling the disciples that the Spirit of truth is going to come unto him. But what is the Spirit of truth? That's what we're asking. So to find this out, let's go into the scriptures. John chapter 16, verse 13. Howbeit, when he, notice it's saying he, because it's referring to him, Yahweh Shah. Howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, right? When he, the Spirit of truth. So in order to figure out what the Spirit of truth is and why it said he, let's go into the scriptures. This is the book of John, chapter 14. I want to go right to the point, because I don't want the lesson to be too long. So this is Yahweh Shah speaking to the disciples about his departure and about how he was going to prepare a place for them. He was going back unto the Father, right? And he told them, John chapter 14, verse 4, I'll start from there. And whither I go, ye know, and the way ye know. Thomas saith unto him, Lord, or Yahweh Shah, we know not whither thou goest, and how can we know the way? Yahweh Shah saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. So Yahweh Shah saith unto Thomas, he says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. So Yahweh Shah is telling Thomas that he's the truth. So let's go back to John chapter 16, verse 13. It says, howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, it says he because it's referring to Yahweh Shah, who is a man, the Spirit of truth, or the Spirit of Yahweh Shah, because Yahweh Shah just said in the book of John chapter 14, verse 6, that he is the truth. So it says, howbeit, when he, talking about Yahweh Shah, the Spirit of truth is talking about the Spirit of Yahweh Shah, because Yahweh Shah is the truth. So howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, or the Spirit of Yahweh Shah, is come, and it was going to come unto them when Yahweh Shah died. That's also known as the Comforter, which Lord will I'll get to that in another show. The Spirit of truth and the Comforter is talking about the same thing, but I'm primarily focusing on this scripture. Howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, right? Which that Spirit of truth is talking about the understanding of the scriptures, because Yahweh Shah is the truth. He's going to help them understand the truth of the scriptures. Though he wasn't physically going to be there, his spirit was going to be in them to understand the truth of the scriptures, to have the understanding of the scriptures. Okay, that's why I said the Spirit of truth. Howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. Right? The scripture says he will guide you into all truth. Now, why did it say that he will guide you into all truth? Let's get a scripture. Let's go to the book of Psalms, the 23rd chapter. Okay? Let's start from the top. Psalms chapter 23, verse 1. It says, the Psalm of David. Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah is my shepherd. I shall not want, meaning I shall not lack. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. Right, he maketh me to lie down in green pastures. That's talking about the knowledge, but it's also referencing the kingdom. How can we prove that real quick? It's talking about the kingdom, but it's also talking about the knowledge. How can we go into that? Let's go to the book of Matthew chapter 13, verse. This is the parable of the wheat and the tares, and Yahweh Shah speaking about while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat. Now there's a scripture right here, which that's talking about back in slavery, when Esau had raped a black woman in slavery, and his seed went into the woman, and it brought forth tares. Those children, many of them looked like Israelite children, but they carried on the father's lineage. Why? Because you are what your father is. You take the lineage of your father. If your father is a so-called white man, regardless of what your mother is, that's what you are. If father is a so-called black man, that's what you are, regardless of what it is that your mother is. So when it says, get to the point, Matthew chapter 13, verse 26, it says, but when the blade was sprung up, that's talking about during that period of the late 60s, early 70s, when Abba Bivens came on the scene, or rather when the truth of who we were really began to be pushed. That's what it's talking about when it says the blade was sprung up. It says, but when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, that's talking about the brothers that came into the knowledge, then appeared the tares also, which tares are those who look like Israelites but aren't. But the point I want to focus on was the blade. Look at that word blade. Okay.
Strong's G5528. Chartas. Chartas.
Chotas. Chotas. And it says the place where grass grows and animals graze. Grass, herbage, hay, provender of green grass of growing crops. So it's talking about, that's talking about when the knowledge came on the scene, when the truth came. That's that provender. Okay? That's that grass. That was that nourishment. Just as the truth nourishes us, the knowledge nourishes us, or the knowledge nourishes us just as grass nourishes the animals that graze. So when the scripture says, going back to Psalms 23, when the scripture says, he making me to lie down in green pastures, that's talking about the knowledge, because knowledge is the provender that the grasses, that the animals graze and eat, which represents not the knowledge, but also in the kingdom. We're going to lie down in green pastures because we're going to be a land flowing milk and honey, meaning we're going to have large amounts of cattle and we're going to have a lot of vegetation, because with vegetation, what? Bees bring forth that honey. With a large amount of cattle, you have what? Milk. So we're going to have a lot of vegetation and a lot of cattle. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. Still waters represent calm waters, peaceful waters. It represents calm. That's why it says still. It represents calm. It represents serenity. It represents peace. And that's what we're going to have in the kingdom. Jerusalem means what? It's the city of peace, right? Yerushalayim. Verse 23. Notice it said he leadeth me beside the still waters. And also water represents the knowledge. And sheep are led by the shepherd into water, to the waters to drink. Verse 23. He restored my soul, right? And our souls are going to be restored through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahshua. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Notice I'm going to that leadeth part, leading, because it's going to make a lot of sense. Verse 4. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, right? The valley of the shadow of death is talking about what? It's talking about slavery. Look at that real quick. What's that? Psalms 103. I think it is. Let me see something. Nah. Psalm 107. Psalm 107 and 10. Psalm 107 and 10. It says, yup. Such as sit in darkness and in the shadow of death, being bound in affliction and iron. So the shadow of death represents slavery, which we went through here in America, because we was being bound in affliction. We was bound with affliction, right? And we were bound in iron, because they rebelled against the words of the Most High and contemned the counsel of the Most High. But let's go back. And that's what led us into captivity, the transgression of the words of the Most High. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, based upon your father's line, y'all are the Israelites. Okay? And that's what led us into captivity. Now it says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Now let's look at that word staff in the Hebrew. The word there is Shabbat. Okay? In fact, let me show you how I got to it real quick. See? Same thing as on the other pages it had up. I'll read it here. The word there is Shabbat. 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 It says rod, staff, branch, offshoot, club, scepter, tribe, rod, staff, shaft, club. It basically gives you the same thing over and over and over again. But what the Spirit had me get to was this right here. This is right here. It says a shepherd's rod, a crook. So a shepherd's rod, that's why I kept saying he leadeth me to still waters. He leadeth me to righteousness. Because it's talking about being led with a shepherd's rod, which is what? A crook. Remember I said a rod and a staff that comfort me? That's talking about that's talking about the scriptures, but it's also referencing how a shepherd. Remember it said in the first verse of Psalms 23rd chapter, the Lord is my shepherd. And the rod and the staff comforts the sheep because it leads the sheep into safety. That's what a shepherd uses to lead the sheep. And this is an example of a shepherd's crook. Okay? It looks like a cane, a walking stick. That's an example of a shepherd's crook. Now let's give you some more insight on that. I'm gonna go here.
Hi, I'm Natalie from Namaste Farms, and today, earlier I did a video talking about the industry, and then I got to thinking,
So just as a shepherd's rod is used to lead the sheep, to guide the sheep, Yahweh Shah is going to guide us into the truth because we are his sheep, and he is the good shepherd.
I'm already making videos, I may as well make
Further proving that Yahweh Shah, the spirit of truth, is going to guide us.
one about catching sheep. It's an art. I don't have herding dogs per se. I do have Australian Shepherds, and they're kind of the jokesters of the herding world. They aren't super helpful. I have an older one, actually. The way that he will help me is, I'm not exactly sure how he figures it out, but over like 8 years of doing it with me, he figures out which animal I want, and he actually will hold onto their shoulder. He'll go, and it's almost like he's heading them, essentially. He'll hold onto their shoulder. He's never broken the skin. He'll usually grab the blanket, and essentially, if they're going to go any further, they have to drag him, and he weighs about 90 pounds. So, and then it gives me a chance to be able to use my shepherd's crook and hook them with it.
See that? The shepherd's crook, and hook them with it. So we understand the purpose of a shepherd's crook.
That said, my dog is old, and it does stress the sheep. The biggest thing with working with ruminants is not stressing them out. They lose condition. I live in the desert. It's about 110 degrees here a lot. And so you don't want to stress them out with a dog, and you don't want them to run. You don't want to keep running them and running them and running them. And the way that animals, ruminants, think as far as predator-prey.
And that's basically all we got to get on that. So we understand what? We understand that, and she even mentioned you don't want to stress them out. But let's get to what I wanted to show you, brothers. Let's get to the point. Here we go right here. See them creeping on the sheep? That's her and her son. She mentioned that throughout the video, that's her son. And she go into the nature of these sheep too. For her to tell her son to stop, right? Now you see she has that shepherd's crook. Now you see the sheep is leading her, but you get the gist of it. Of the purpose of the shepherd's crook. It guides the sheep. Let's give you some more insight on that. Okay? And she even mentioned the kind of sheep she got, a rough sheep. Now this video here is called Shepherd's Crook. I gotta zoom in. This is already I already max zoomed it in because this is a very, very small video. You see that? Very, very small. So I'm gonna make it bigger for you brothers to see. Now I'm gonna play it. See that? How he just used the shepherd's crook to grab the sheeps, to grab the lambs. So Yahweh Shah is guiding us into all truth. The way what? The way a shepherd guides his sheep with that crook. Yahweh Shah's rod or his crook or the scriptures is going to guide us. Just as the shepherd uses that shepherd's crook to guide the sheep.